When I was 13, my family took me camping deep in the mountains. The first night, we sat around the fire, laughing. The next morning, I woke up alone in the tent. No footprints, no notes, no gear, just gone. I walked for days until a ranger found me. They contacted my parents. When he picked up, he said, "Wrong number." Then he paused, told him to forget we ever existed, and he hung up. After that, I stopped being part of any family. 10 years later, I did something that tore their world apart. A week ago, I got a letter from a lawyer. Yesterday, I woke up to 63 missed calls. My sister sent voice notes like, "What the fuck did you do? Dad's vomiting. He can't even stand." He read the letter and collapsed. So, I don't know if this is the kind of thing people even post here, but I've been reading all these revenge stories, and mine starts with something so weird it almost sounds fake when I say it out loud. I was 13. My family, mom, dad, younger sister Kylie, decided to go camping way out in the mountains. Like, not the basic state park. I mean, we had to drive forever on these busted up roads, and the last few miles were just rocks and trees. No cell signal, not even a radio worked. We had gone before, but never this far. I remember it felt off from the start, for real. Like, my dad kept glancing at the rear view more than usual, and my mom was fidgety, kept checking and rechecking the bags in the trunk. She snapped at me for forgetting my earbuds and then acted like nothing happened, which wasn't really her style. Usually, she'd keep at it or at least give me some look. Kylie was mostly on her phone until we lost service. Then she just looked out the window and picked at her nails. There wasn't really any big fight or drama. It was just quiet. Not the cool family trip quiet, more like everyone was thinking about something else. I kept getting this feeling I was missing some inside joke. We get there late afternoon, unload the tent and some gear. We're supposed to help, but Dad does most of it himself. He barely talks. I remember he started setting up the tent before we even found the fire pit, which is weird because he's the type to have a whole plan written out. That night, we're around the fire and it's honestly nice for a bit. We're roasting marshmallows. Well, Dad's burning them. And Kylie keeps throwing pine needles on the flames, making them pop. Then Dad says something like, "It's good to have a fresh start. Maybe we'll all feel better tomorrow." I just kind of shrugged. Mom doesn't say anything, just stares at the fire. I went to sleep thinking this trip was about some family issue they weren't talking about, like maybe it was about my grades or Dad's fights with his brother, my Uncle Ellis. I wake up, tent zipped up, sun's up, it's cold. I reach for my backpack and it's not there. At first, I thought maybe Kylie pulled a prank, she's done it before. But then I realize her stuff's gone too. I get out of the tent and it's just nothing. No chairs, no cooler, no bags, no car. Even the snack wrappers are gone. Like someone cleaned up after a party. You ever get that feeling like your stomach just unclenches all at once? Like, oh, this is bad. This isn't just a joke. I started yelling, walked in circles around the clearing, checked behind trees, looked for tire tracks or literally any sign they'd just gone to get water or something. Nothing. No notes, no footprints except mine. My phone is dead. I left my charger in the car. I guess the next few hours I just kept expecting them to come out of the woods or yell surprise or whatever. I sat there and waited for real, like an idiot. I was mad, but also like maybe I did something and they decided to teach me a lesson. I don't know. Eventually I get hungry and then thirsty, like really thirsty. There's a creek close by, so I drink some water from it, which was probably dumb, but I didn't know what else to do. Got dark. No one came back. I slept in the tent again, but it was freezing. Couldn't really sleep. Next morning, still nothing. Now I'm just pissed. Like, if this was a test or something, they'd have come by now, right? I started yelling again. My voice got hoarse. I started to get scared, but mostly just pissed off. I kicked the tent pole so hard it bent. I tried to remember which direction the car had come from. Picked one and started walking. Just had my clothes and a broken flashlight. Not even working. Thanks, Div. I spent the next day and a half walking. Pretty sure I was going the wrong way. Heard some animal noises. Got scratched up on thorns. Literally fell once and skinned my arm so bad it bled down to my wrist. Probably should have been more scared of bears or whatever, But mostly I was just running through all the reasons they did this. Like, what did I do? Why leave me? But by the third day, I was hallucinating a bit. Kept hearing Kylie laughing like from behind a tree, but it was just birds or whatever. Eventually, I see this dude in a ranger uniform and nearly collapse. He gives me water, asks me a million questions like, "Where's your family? Why are you alone? Do you know your address?" I try not to sound like a psycho, but I'm just like, they left. I guess they just left. He takes me to this station, gives me some crackers and Gatorade. I still remember the taste. It was bright blue and I almost threw it up. He's flipping through a phone book, yeah, an actual phone book, to try to call my parents. I hear him talking to my dad. He says, "Got a kid here named Joseph. Says you're his father. He's safe. You can come pick him up." Then he goes quiet and his face changes. He hangs up. He tells me my dad said wrong number, then just said, "Tell him to forget we ever existed," then hung up. I didn't really believe it until I heard the ranger try again, and my dad just hung up immediately. The ranger's face was kind of blank. He asks if there's anyone else to call. I give him Ellis's number, my uncle, Dad's older brother. Ellis actually comes and gets me, but he doesn't really know what to say. He's mad at my dad, keeps cursing under his breath, almost slaps the steering wheel at one point. At home, he lets me sit in the living room and watch TV, but mostly he just avoids talking about it. I keep thinking maybe my parents will call or Kylie will message me or something. Nothing. I get sent to live with Ellis for a while. He's not bad, just awkward. He doesn't know what to do with a teenager. I don't hear from my family at all. Not even a text. There's a lot more, but that's how it started. I never really got an answer. Not then anyway. Just that one line from my dad like I was some broken thing they were done with. I'm not looking for sympathy or whatever. Just needed to write this out somewhere. If you're wondering if I ever saw them again, nah, not really. For years, I just stewed about it, honestly. But yeah, 10 years later, I got my shot and for real, I took it. If you want the rest, ask. I'm not holding back anymore. Update 1. Alright, so a few people wanted the rest. And honestly, I need to get this out. So here's what happened after the whole Left in the Woods thing. If you didn't read the first part, whatever. But just know I was 13. My parents took me camping. Next morning, they were just gone. I walked out. Ranger called them. My dad told him it was the wrong number and to tell me to forget they ever existed. That's it. I was out of the family. So after that, I lived with my Uncle Ellis for a while. He's my dad's brother and honestly he tried, but he's not like nurturing or whatever. He'd buy me stuff and let me play PlayStation in the living room, but he'd also just disappear for hours or say stuff like, "You're old enough to sort your own dinner." I got used to just making ramen and eating cereal straight out of the box. I got used to being alone pretty fast. What's weird is no one at school believed me at first. Like, why would your family do that? They kept asking if I was exaggerating or just ran off myself. I had to show the school counselor the paperwork from the ranger station. Even then, I could tell people were skeptical. Nobody just ditches their kid. That's not real life. I stopped trying to explain and just said, "I live with my uncle now." Ellis never really talked about my parents. Whenever I brought them up, he'd just grunt or change the subject. After a while, I stopped asking, but I'd still hear him on the phone sometimes arguing with my dad late at night. A couple times I heard yelling, then a door slam. Once I heard my name and then silence. I started to wonder if there was some big reason. Like, maybe I'd done something so bad they just snapped, but I couldn't think of anything. I wasn't some monster kid. I mean, sure, I'd mouth off sometimes, didn't do great in math, but nothing worth being left in the woods. A year passes, 2 years. Nothing from them, no birthdays, no texts, nothing on Facebook. Sometimes I'd check my mom's old page, but she deleted it. Same with Kylie. It was like they just erased me from everything. When I turned 16, Ellis tried to have a serious talk. He said my parents had always been under a lot of pressure and that things got complicated after Kylie was born. I asked if he knew why they did it and he just said, "Your dad always had a temper. Your mom was always tired. You know how it is." Which, no, I didn't. Not like that. Then, kind of out of nowhere, Kylie emails me. It's not even from her main account. It's like a burner Gmail. That's literally her initials and some numbers. All it says is, you should stop trying to contact us. There's nothing for you here. Just move on. She didn't even sign it. No, from your sister. Nothing. I replied, she blocked me. I was pissed. Like, not even sad, just angry. It's one thing for my parents to do what they did, but Kylie, we were close. Or I thought we were. I guess after they left me, she just decided I wasn't her brother anymore. So I started digging. Not like stalking, but I wanted to know if they were even still in the same city. Found out through a cousin, Marjorie, that my parents moved a couple years after dumping me. New house, new numbers. I asked Marjorie if she knew why, and she just said, they told everyone you'd gone to live with Ellis because you were difficult. Like I was some kind of problem kid. I straight up asked if Marjorie believed that. She looked away and said she didn't know. I could tell she was uncomfortable. Her mom, my Aunt Connie, actually called Ellis and told him I was asking too many questions. Ellis told me to drop it, but I didn't. I started noticing more stuff. Found out my parents had gone on vacation to Mexico a year after dumping me. Saw the pics in a photo album at Connie's house. All smiles. Kylie holding a coconut drink. Nobody even mentioned I wasn't in a single photo, not even in the background. It's like I never existed. I started getting angrier, like they were just living their lives, posting on Facebook about family dinners and grateful for my blessings, literally acting like I never existed. I asked Ellis again if he knew why they hated me so much. He finally snapped and said, your dad always thought you were too much. He said you made life hard for everyone, that you argued too much, that you reminded him of his own father. He said your parents wanted a fresh start and you didn't fit. That's when it hit me. It wasn't about anything I did. It was just that I wasn't the kid they wanted. I think they thought dumping me would fix their lives. I was furious at them, at Ellis for not telling me sooner, at myself for ever thinking it was my fault. I started to push back. Not in some movie way, but I'd call them, leave messages just to let them know I was still around. My mom blocked my number. My dad changed his voicemail so it just says not accepting messages. Kylie blocked me on everything. I started showing up at Connie's house more just to make them uncomfortable. Once my dad actually came over for a barbecue and saw me sitting at the table. He turned around and left. Connie yelled at me for ruining the mood. I told her, this is my family too. You don't get to erase me. She slammed the door and told Ellis to control his problem nephew. It just kept building for real. I'd see photos of Kylie with her friends at some college event, and I'd just get angrier. She looked happy like nothing had happened. My mom has this whole new circle of friends who post about her courage and second chances. Makes me sick. So yeah, now I knew my dad dumped me because he thought I was too much. My mom just went along with it. Kylie, I don't even know. Maybe she just picked their side because it was easier. If you're reading this and thinking just move on, trust me, I tried. But when someone rips you out of their life and then acts like you never existed, it gets under your skin. I didn't want revenge at first. I just wanted answers. But after all this, for real, I wanted them to feel it for once. I made a promise to myself. I wasn't going to be quiet. I wasn't going to just disappear. Next update, I'll tell you how I decided to make sure they'd never forget me again. It gets messy. Update 2. So I guess this is the part people want, the what did you actually do update? I'm just going to say this isn't some movie plot or TikTok prank, but it's real. And it hurt them in ways they actually care about. And nah, I don't regret it. Not even a little. For a while after that last mess at Connie's house, I just went quiet. Everyone told me to move on, get therapy, blah blah. But the thing is, you can't just let someone erase you. Not when they're out here acting like model citizens, and I'm the freak in the family that nobody talks about. So yeah, I started planning. Not like sitting there with a notebook and sketches or anything, but just keeping tabs. I started following what they did, Kylie's posts, my mom's old friends, even checking dumb alumni pages and family reunion stuff. Not stalking, just being aware. One thing that stuck out was how much my dad cared about his little legacy. Like he was obsessed with being seen as the family man, the one who held it all together. He always wanted to be in control of how people saw us. After they dumped me, he just started fresh and pretended it was always perfect. I guess he figured nobody would ever look too close. So about a year ago, I found this old box of papers at Ellis's house. He was clearing out the closet, handed it to me like, "These are yours. I don't want them." Mostly it was old report cards, birthday cards, the stuff parents keep. But there was also this stack of stuff about my grandparents, like actual paperwork about a house they used to own, some kind of trust. I asked Ellis about it and he just shrugged. Said it was all handled years ago, but it wasn't. I started looking into it and turns out the property and some cash was supposed to be split between all grandchildren, which included me. But my parents never told anyone about me after they moved. They just said Kylie was the only kid. I had a right to that legally and everything. That's when I realized I could actually do something. Not just annoy them, but force them. Force everyone to acknowledge me. I started small. Every time there was a family event, I'd show up. Not to be polite, just to make it weird. Kylie's grad party, I dropped by. She tried to ignore me. My dad pulled me aside, told me I wasn't welcome. I told him, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm family, right?" He tried to push past me. I didn't move. He actually shoved me. I shoved right back. My mom grabbed my arm. I shook her off. Next thing, I started calling up relatives about the trust. I asked Marjorie if she'd heard about it. She said Mom told her it was all handled. I said, "Handled how? If nobody even told me." She got defensive, said it wasn't her problem. I could tell she was pissed, probably called my mom right away. I filed a formal request with the people who managed the trust. Not hard, just showed my ID, copies of my old school docs, proof I existed. They had to take it seriously. They paused all distributions while they investigated a potential oversight. Suddenly, nobody could access anything, not just my parents, Connie, Marjorie, all of them. People started calling, texting, asking why I was making trouble. I told them, if you want to erase me, maybe don't steal from me. Kylie sent me a wall of texts, all like, "Why are you doing this? You're ruining everything. You're being selfish." I told her, "You all got to have a family and money and pretend I was dead. Now you can deal with reality." My dad tried to call Ellis, told him to get me under control. Ellis told him to handle his own mess. Mom left me a voicemail, her voice all shaky saying, "This isn't fair. You don't know what you're doing." I deleted it. It wasn't just the money. I started reaching out to the schools, Kylie's college specifically. She'd gotten this scholarship for family hardship or something, and I knew she'd written an essay about her journey as an only child. I sent the scholarship board a factual letter, attached my birth certificate, said I was her sibling, alive and well, and that her family had excluded me for personal reasons. I didn't lie, just stated facts. I got a reply that they were reviewing her eligibility. Kylie went ballistic, started telling people I was lying. At the same time, I went through photos, made copies of old family albums that included me, and sent them to anyone who still talked to my parents. Just dropped them in the mail. No return address. Suddenly, people started asking questions at church, at their neighborhood events, even at their dumb book club. I'd hear about it from Marjorie or Connie, who would call Ellis and complain that I was ruining the family reputation. I didn't care. Honestly, I wanted it to hurt. I wanted them to feel even a fraction of what it's like to be erased. My dad actually showed up at Ellis's door one night, yelling, demanding I come out and face him. Ellis told him to get off his property. Dad started pushing Ellis. Ellis shoved him back. Mom tried to calm everyone down but ended up slamming the door on Dad's hand. I didn't go outside. I sat in the kitchen and listened to them fight like kids. And for once, I didn't feel like the problem. The money thing dragged on for months. My parents tried to contest it, said I was estranged and shouldn't count. Didn't work. The lawyers told them unless they could prove I was dead, I was legally entitled. They couldn't prove anything except they didn't want me. The best part, I made sure everyone in their world knew, not through drama online or whatever, just facts and paperwork. I made them answer for what they did every single day. I'm not done. There's another step. And trust me, it's the one that really got them where it hurts. That's coming up next. Final update. So here's the last piece. Not gonna lie, this is the one that hit them the hardest. And I'm not sorry about it. You can think what you want, but if you've read the rest, you know I didn't get here by accident or for nothing. This is what happens when people decide you're disposable and you decide you're not. It started with a weird envelope in the mail. Plain, no markings, not even a return address. I almost tossed it as junk, but it was heavy, had that expensive paper feel. I thought it was some dumb credit card promo. But inside was a letter from a lawyer. Not even addressed to Mr. or anything, just my name right in the middle of the page. It said I had a right to claim my portion of the family trust and that since my name was on the original documents, I could force a full review. I'd already started the process with the trust admin, but this was different. Now it was official and they sent it to every adult in the family with their legal address. Not just my parents, Connie, Marjorie, Ellis, even Kylie, who I guess counted as an adult now. It basically forced everyone to acknowledge I existed, spelled out exactly how I'd been left out, and called for a formal hearing. I didn't even have to do anything wild. The system did the rest. So a week ago, the letters hit everyone's mailbox. I didn't post anything, didn't text, just waited. I woke up the next morning to my phone blowing up. Not just a couple calls, 63. I counted. Half of them were from Kylie, a bunch from Connie. Even Ellis tried, but he just said to call him back when I was done with all the drama. I didn't answer any of the calls. I just watched as the voicemails stacked up one after another. I got texts from numbers I didn't even know, all of them angry or desperate or both. Kylie sent me voice notes. First one was all, "What the fuck did you do? You're ruining our lives. Dad is losing it." Another one, she was crying, said, "Mom was making herself sick. Dad literally vomited and couldn't even stand up after reading the letter." She said, "You win. Okay, just stop." I listened to the rest. Some were just her breathing heavy. Some were full-on screaming rants. Then Marjorie called, said I was blowing up the family for no reason. That I could have just asked for what I wanted. I told her I did and everyone ignored me. She said, "This isn't the way. You're making us look like monsters." I said, "You did that yourselves." Then my dad finally called. His message was just silence for like 10 seconds. Then he said, "You've ruined everything. Is that what you wanted?" I deleted it. Connie texted me, said she was getting calls from people at church, from neighbors, even from her book club. People were asking why nobody ever mentioned me, why there was a whole missing kid in the family, if something terrible happened. She said she was tired of cleaning up my messes. I told her they weren't my messes. The fallout was bigger than I expected, for real. Turns out the trust was set up so that if there was any dispute, everything got frozen until it was settled. All the money, all the property, all the accounts, nobody could touch any of it. Kylie lost her scholarship because her application got flagged for material family changes and now people were gossiping at her school about what happened. My mom's friend group started blowing up her socials asking questions, some even blocking her. My dad lost it at Ellis, showed up at his place, tried to push past him at the door, but Ellis shoved him back and told him to get out. Mom was in the car crying. Wouldn't make eye contact. Dad tried to call me again. I didn't answer. The best part, none of this was illegal. None of it was even that complicated. I just made sure that every time they tried to erase me, I was right there, on the paperwork, in the photos, in the room, and now in the legal system. People who used to look up to my dad started giving him the cold shoulder. Kylie's friends started asking what really happened. Nobody could pretend I didn't exist anymore. I'm not saying I'm done, but this is as far as I needed to go. I don't need an apology. I don't want to hear from them. I just wanted them to feel it, really feel it. That you don't get to throw people away and walk off like it's nothing. I got another letter from the lawyer today. There's a date set for the hearing. I'll show up in person, look them in the eye, and make them say my name out loud on record. After all of it, I guess what I'm saying is if they wanted me to forget, they should have tried harder, because now they're never going to forget me either.